Welcome back, folks. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and we are on the eve of the 2025 NFL Draft. And today we are wrapping things up, tying it up into a bow. If you're a Rams fan, stay tuned because we are bringing to you the final Rams mock draft on this channel, at least before the draft. Before we dive into it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, be sure to follow me on all social media at JK Bogan, including Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Kick. In addition to that, just want to remind you guys that I will be live tomorrow with Alexis Kraft, Downtown Rams, 6th annual draft stream. We're doing it on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So come on, hang out with us, have a little bit of a Rams-centric twist on the draft, but we will also be covering other picks as well. So it's fun. We do it every year. We've had a lot of success. We had over 40,000 views last time out, so we're trying to crush that number this time, and I believe we will. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Of course, that post will be posted on the YouTube channel very soon, so you'll be able to basically just hit the bell icon, and you won't miss it when we're live. All right, let's get into it. I started off, I'm just going to actually give you my trades straight up for this mock draft. And man, I went back and forth. I've just heard so many different things. And I'm just going to stick with my gut here and what I believe the Rams will do. Now, of course, I'm going to be wrong. I don't know a single soul that's ever predicted, including trades, an entire mock draft for a team correctly. But I'm going to attempt to do that. So I have 4 trades for you guys. The first one, the Rams are going to move back from 26, move to 32. They're also going to acquire the 64th pick and move the 101st pick. So Rams get 32 and 64. The Eagles get 26 and 101. Why would the Eagles do this? I'm going to explain real quick. I think they will be interested in Donovan Ezeraku. And I think looking at the Ravens and the Commanders and the Lions, I think he's a great fit for all those teams. So I could see the Eagles trying to move up in front of them. And hear me out when I say this. I know Howie Roseman likes to trade down, but I think a lot of teams are trying to trade down. And when, everyone zigs, he zags, right? So I would see him going in a different direction, shocking people. If Walter Nolan's there, he could be in play. But I actually see them going with a Donovan Ezeraku off the edge. They did, of course, lose Josh Sweat. So then the next trade I do later on is I move the 64th pick, which is the last pick in the second round, for the 73rd, 162nd, and 207. So Rams come away with another third-round pick, moving down from the second round with the Jets, a fifth-round pick, 162, and a sixth-round pick, 207. So that's important info there. Then what I did is, while I was doing this mock draft, I had Seattle reach out to me and say, look, we want 127 in the fourth round. Are you down to move 10 spots? We'll give you a 7th rounder in 2026, and we'll give you a 5th rounder at 175. And I said, sure. So then the last trade I made was with the Tennessee Titans. I took the 190, 195, and the 201 picks in round 6, sent them over to Tennessee to essentially buy up and have a better round 5 pick. So I picked at 141. So let's dive into it. At pick 32, we're sticking with the last draft here. There's going to be some similarities to my last mock draft, but there's also going to be some differences. So finalizing this thing, I'm sticking with Jalen Milroe here. Now, I've been told for a few different people, it's been all over the place. Yes, I could see Milroe. Absolutely not. They're not picking a quarterback in the first round. But hear me out when I say this. Jalen Milroe is the only quarterback that the Rams met and had a top 30 visit with. They saw other guys when they went to the pro days. They hosted Jalen Milroe, and he said he really enjoyed his time with the Rams, going over things and what have you. The 5th-year option, I think, isn't really that important for most positions. I think it's an overblown narrative. But at quarterback, especially when Matthew Stafford, I think, can play longer than people give him credit for, I think a 5th-year option makes a lot of sense for Jalen Milroe. The Rams already have Matthew Stafford. So no, I'm not going to start Jalen Milroe over Stafford. The biggest knock on Milroe is people say he's not ready, but I know that. That's why I actually think he makes a lot of sense, and this is the best fit for him. He's so different than what Sean McVay normally does, but think about Bryce Perkins for a sec. Sean McVay got a chance to develop Bryce Perkins to a degree. Bryce Perkins had I wouldn't even say the athleticism of Jalen Milroe, but was a good running quarterback, at least had the ability to run. He just did not have the arm strength of Jalen Milroe. So I feel like we've seen it in the past. Will it matter? I don't know. But what I will tell you is that Jalen Milroe has a chance to be the best quarterback in this draft. And he goes to the Rams and sits behind Stafford and is in that, like, integrated in that whole system. I think he's going to be the best quarterback in this draft. This allows for the Rams to trade down, though, because you trade down to 32nd. This allows them to get that second round pick in between pick 26 and 90. So I do like this for that reason. It's not a great quarterback draft. So why not draft a quarterback that has rare athleticism, arm strength, and especially in a position where he can contribute with that athleticism in sub-package roles, and he can also sit behind these established quarterbacks. The timeline makes sense for Milroe. You're not drafting a guy who is going to be a pain and is already ready to start, and anytime Stafford has a bad pass, you're going to have the fan base clamoring for him to come in. It's not going to be the case with Milroe. Milroe is going to get a chance to develop. There's no pressure on him. McVay gets his hands on a mobile quarterback with an elite arm, and I just feel like that makes a lot of sense. All the knocks on Milroe are that it's basically all about what he is right now. But the Rams, I think it makes a lot of sense. Anthony Richardson really is the thing that has people scared of drafting this type of player. But I think if McVay and Snead go in this direction, I want to ask you, are the same people who tell everyone to have an opinion or not to have an opinion and trust McVay and Snead, are they going to follow suit if McVay and Snead deem that Jalen Milroe makes the most sense? I think the top 30 visit matters. Now, I would say this. I'm not saying it's the end-all be-all with the top 30 visit. They normally don't do this. He might not even make it to the Rams pick. We don't know what's going to go down. But he's starting to get a lot of hype. And is it all a facade, or will he actually be available in the second round? Either way, I think it makes the most sense. Anonymous evaluators called Milroe the best running quarterback ever evaluated. Better than Lamar Jackson. Milroe would be going in the same spot as Lamar Jackson at pick 32. He's got a great work ethic. He's coachable. He's well-liked. He's smart. Has a good family background, military family. This sounds like a guy that he's in a good position to beat the odds of being a bust to me. And so I think you put him in this organization with the Rams, that's going to be some fun stuff. But I think it actually works well in their favor. Yes, I understand they are ready to win a Super Bowl, but I think their roster, all things considered, I think their roster is ready to win a Super Bowl before this draft. So I think you can afford to draft Jalen Milroe. And just think about how efficient the Rams have been on day 3 of the NFL draft. That's another reason why I don't think Milroe absolutely breaks the bank here. So we move on to pick 73 in the 3rd round. I have Jack Besh from TCU. My secondary pick was Jalen Noel. I had him the last draft. I really like Noel. I like the familiarity factor, but I feel like the more and more, like the player I'm hearing the most that the Rams would be interested in is Jack Besh. And I get it. It makes a lot of sense. You know, I think you look at the Rams not normally picking that type of quarterback in Milroe. We already did that in this mock. I do not expect them to stray far from this path and pass on their type of wide receiver, because Jack Besh is that type of wide receiver. Great route runner, well-built frame, great blocker, nuanced player, catches everything in sight, has good play speed, his work after the catch to boot. I mean, he's a perfect fit for the Rams. A lot of people compare him to Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. I compare him to Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, I've been told the Rams like Besh quite a bit. We'll see how it comes down, but it would not at all shock me if Jack Besh is a Ram. I think he can help right away and in the future. He's the most obvious Rams receiver from just like a fit standpoint, an archetype standpoint. I think they would not hesitate to take him here if he was there. So again, this pick was from the Jets trade down from 64th. Rams acquire 2 other picks and swap the 73rd. Staying in the 3rd round here at pick 90, we're sticking and picking, and we're going to go with a tight end who I think people are just overthinking. We're going to stay with Harold Fannin Jr., who has been in all 3 of my mock drafts. Bowling Green, they ran the offense through this guy. He's considered the 4th youngest player in the draft. He aligns way too similarly with tight ends of the past that have been coached by McVay. In any case, one that literally was the first draft pick of the McVay era, Gerald Everett and Jordan Reed. So I really like this fit. I think the production in college doesn't translate as simple as that, but Harold Fannin Jr. had an entire offense running through him. He was breaking records, and he made more guys miss than any tight end in the country at the position. So I think that's a big deal. I think it's something the current crop of tight ends really struggle with. So I think Fannin Jr. comes in. He gives you something that you don't have, a guy that can generate missed tackles, and he could be that flex tight end that would work well in combination with Tyler Higbee. He's a willing blocker. I think he's underrated in that area. I think he's an obvious fit. And considering he's only going to be 21 years old in his rookie year, I think this makes sense as not only right now, and you know how high his floor is considering how young he is, but it makes sense for the future. I mean, he could be your guy. So he's one of the players I think people are overthinking. I think he's proved himself against top competition, having 19 catches, 280 plus yards, and 2 touchdowns against Penn State and Texas A&M. I just don't have any questions about Fannin. I think he's just going to work out, and I think people are going to overthink it, and you just have to hope that your team isn't one of those teams. I think others are going to have Loveland. They're going to have Mason Taylor of the Rams. But I don't know if the Rams are going to spend that high of a pick on a tight end. They wanted Bowers because they felt he was special. They felt he was generational. Would you rather have Fannin on day 2 or spend a day 1 pick on Loveland with no trade back, or Mason Taylor? You know, and I think that's the big thing. I think I like Mason Taylor a lot. I like Loveland. But the idea of having to trade up for Loveland, or maybe even trading up for Mason Taylor, I don't think that's the smart approach. And I don't even know if Fannin Jr. is going to be here at pick 90. But if he is, I do believe that the Rams will pick him if they haven't already taken a tight end. Moving on to the 4th round here, 137. We're going to stick here after the trade down from 127, the swap 10 spots to get a 175th overall and a 7th rounder in 2026 with Seattle. Seattle had a lot of picks, so I guess this makes sense for them. Smile Mondon Jr., the linebacker from Georgia. My secondary pick here was Barrett Carter, who I've heard some really good things about, and that the Rams do like him from Clemson. I think he makes a lot of sense. He's an elite athlete. He can do everything. He's one of the top, in my opinion, based on what I watched, he's one of the best coverage linebackers in the draft. He has fluid hips, foot speed, can cover tight ends and running backs in man, but also has the football awareness to play in zone. He's a really good tackler, has great technique. His blitzing ability can be put to good use in Chris Shula's defense. Really good first step. Has the ability to shoot gaps, produce chaos in the backfield, lots of special teams experience at Georgia. So this is a team captain through and through, a well-respected leader, hard worker, high character profile, which fits that we not me culture, has loads of potential, and if he pans out, he'll be one of the better linebackers in football. He's still a bit raw, he can over-pursue, and he did have some durability concerns going into this year. So I like Smile Mondon a lot. I'm not the only one that's mocked him. I know other people have, but I have him here at 137. And then we move on to the 5th round here at 141. And I'm going to have the Rams taking my guy, my 5th overall running back, Trevor Etienne out of Georgia. He's the 5th youngest player in the draft. He has great vision, lateral agility, can evade defenders easily. He has receiving ability, only dropped 1 pass on 63 targets. Really good yard after the catch guy in limited time, and he didn't get a ton of opportunities, but in the limited opportunities I saw on tape, his pass pro was really impressive. He displayed advanced blitz recognition and has a lot of potential in that area, in my opinion. He's explosive, has the long speed to complement Kyron Williams, 4.4 speed. He has very low mileage, really, really small wear and tear, only 371 carries, so he's one of the fresher backs, in my opinion, heading into the NFL. He played in special teams. He has return ability, which is important now with the rules. You know, I think if he falls here He falls here because the running back class is really deep. I'm higher on him than probably most people are, and he doesn't have that strong power. He's not going to break a ton of tackles. He'll break some tackles, but it's more so he'll shake tackles, not really run through a linebacker. And then his frame is a little bit on the lighter side. Still is perfectly fine for me. Some people would want more of the 220-pound back. ETN allows the Rams to address the position, though, without pushing Blake Corum entirely out the door and offering something not already on the roster at running back. That's the issue here. You spent a third on Blake Corum last year. If you're going to get another guy that's very similar in skill set to Blake Corum and Kyren Williams, you're likely going to have to trade Blake Corum, right? So this allows you to kind of, deviate from that. ETN is a lot different than Corum and Kyren, way more explosive. So he's also a really good pass protector. I do think he would be able to play more than Corum because of that. But at the same time, this is a young player. He's going to be 21 his rookie year. This is a young player. So that's something to keep in mind there. And that's what I have there at pick 141. Then at 162, I went with Kobe Bryant from KU. Look, Kobe Bryant, cornerback, this is somebody I could see going a little bit higher. I did end up getting him here. This is what I'll say about this. His frame is why he would likely fall here, okay? But he's a versatile corner. He has plenty of durability despite that thin frame. He displays a willingness to tackle, make plays and run support, albeit he's more of a ankle biter, hit in the thigh board than like a wrap tackler, so he'll have to work on that. He has the ability to work in zone coverage or in press man. He has top-notch ball skills, had 13 picks in college and 22 pass breakups. Inside-outside versatility, albeit he took 2,000 plus snaps on the outside. He has longer arms. I think that's really going to allow him to be disruptive. And then I think he fits the Rams really well schematically. I think the timeline fits as well. So I think he'll probably go earlier, but that thin frame at $180, and he looks even thinner than that. He has a grabby play style. He doesn't have elite speed. He didn't test extremely well. I think that could allow him to fall into the Rams' hands here in the fifth round. So then we move on to the other fifth round pick at 175. It's Ajani Cornelius, the offensive tackle from Oregon. You guys are probably wondering when I was going to address the offensive tackle position. Well, I do now. And look, he's got an NFL-ready body. I think he's very translatable with the pro arm strength. I think he has really heavy hands. He has good grip strength, a mauler in the run game, shows dominance in zone blocking schemes, which I think fits well for the Rams. He has lateral agility, great foot speed, only allowed 4 sacks and over 1,400 pass blocking snaps, and he improved every single year. He, in my mind, is a tackle that can give the Rams provided depth and fill the Joseph Noteboom role that is currently vacated. I think he prepares to start behind Rob Havenstein for the future at right tackle, but I also think he provides the ability to kick inside at guard if need be. He started 35 straight games without injury, so the best ability is availability, and this guy is tough and durable. He really is a smart football player as well. He processes information quickly, reacts quickly, all those different, when you have, stunts and things like that, he is ready for that moment. Like he doesn't show up ill-prepared. Now, why would he fall here? The bend, the flexibility, they're lacking. He plays with a higher pad level. He's not the best athlete. The testing wasn't the best. He's penalty prone. He did have 25 penalties in over 3 seasons, and his anchor is a tad inconsistent. But on day 3, finding a player with enough to build off is really vital in my opinion. Cornelius is not the same level as his teammate Josh Connerly, who you've seen mocked to the Rams countless times, but he should have a role in the league, and if everything pans out, he would be an above-average starter, in my opinion, at right tackle. So there I have it, Ajani Cornelius to the Rams, the last pick in the 5th round. We move on to 202. I went with safety Craig Woodson from Cal. I really like this player. I think he's really being slept on, really underrated, fluid athlete, really fun tape. He's got versatile deployment. What I mean by that is he can play free safety, box safety, slot corner. He can even play on the outside. So I think this kind of gives you a little bit of what, you remember Russ East from K-State. The things that, when he was coming out of the draft, those are the things that he provided. But I think Craig Woodson is a better player coming out. He had 2,700 plus defensive snaps. He excels in zone. I think he offers the ability on special teams as well, based on what I've seen, and has some success blocking kicks. So the Rams lost Michael Hoyt last year, who had multiple kicks blocked last year alone. I think, adding Woodson would really help out. Doesn't hurt to get a Woodson defensive back either, right? But all jokes aside, he could be fun. Watch him in coverage. His ball skills are there. Run support is reliable. He's a violent player. He tested really well. He's a high football IQ type of guy, and he is on the older side. So I have the Rams drafting some younger blood here, but I also have them going after their 24-year-old safety here in the 6th round. Woodson provides another starting caliber player in the safety room that adds depth now, but could potentially start and take over for Quentin Lake or Cam Curl or whoever, depending on what happens with the two following their contract year. So that's what I have there. And then the final pick, and this one was tough. I wrestled around with a lot of different players. I don't think they're going interior defensive line. I could be wrong. Thor Griffith wasn't there. So I went at 207 in the 6th round with Arian Smith, Georgia wide receiver. 3 Georgia players in this draft. But look, Georgia draft heavy again. 3 Bulldogs on day 3. Arian Smith, I am not going to sugarcoat it. He struggles to catch the football. So you're probably like, why would you draft a wide receiver that can't catch the ball? Well, that said, he has rare deep threat ability, okay? He has me thinking if he figures out these problems, he's going to be like Deshaun Jackson, who the Rams had for like 6 games and instantly saw the dynamism in that type of player. To me, late 6th round, I think this is a no-brainer. You take the traitsy deep threat who has return ability, can challenge Xavier Smith for the job. That's where I think his fit is. And then let the everything else kind of take care of itself. But Smith's upside, I think, is pretty large if he learns how to catch without using his body. To me, he's really underrated as a blocker. You wouldn't expect a guy that has some of the issues that he has to be this good of a blocker. So I think that's something to keep in mind. I think it would allow him to get on the field his rookie year. Now, how much on the field, that I couldn't tell you. But I do think Arian Smith is a player to look out for, because when you're watching him, you're like, oh, this dude could be electric. But then, he drops the football occasionally. He dropped a huge throw. I mean, Carson Beck threw it right perfectly over the middle, and he dropped it. The 2-point conversion OT, that's never good. But I do think Arian Smith working with Eric Yarber, I actually like that. And I like in this mock, I only went with 9 players because, as I've said, I'll continue to say, this is a really good roster. It's going to be hard to make this roster. So I think going with 9 players instead of trying to get 12 or 13 picks, I don't want to cut 4 guys, right? I want to draft 9 and likely all 9 make the roster. And I think Arian Smith makes a lot of sense here. So in conclusion, you come away with my QB3 in the draft at 32, wide receiver 7 at 73, tight end 2 at 90, linebacker 6 at 137, and running back 5 at 141. I think this mock draft, while it might not be everybody's favorite, I think it provides an outlet to go and find guys to work in those need positions. I don't think they have anywhere near as many needs as people are saying, and I think everything gets addressed here. I understand some people are going to want some bigger names at those positions, but I think in a draft like this, when you're constantly hearing how the 20th pick is the same as the 66th pick in this draft, you're getting basically the same tier of player. Well, how do you feel when you get into day 3 and some of these guys are falling in round 5? I mean, I think some of those round 5 guys are probably round 3 guys. I think Trevor Etienne in another running back class is probably one of the top guys. But because the running back class is so deep, I think you'll get a chance to get a guy like that in the 5th round. So those are my thoughts. This is my final mock draft for the Rams. I am done for now. We did it last year. It was a hit, so we'll do it again. PFF makes it easy. I will do a mock draft based on whatever the Rams do in round 1. So look for that. It'll be in the morning on the day of round 2, or day 2 rather. So that'll be the next mock draft I do. But as far as pre-draft, this is it for the Rams. I hope you guys enjoy. I didn't want to go over 3 mock drafts, so this is the 3rd and final mock draft. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, Jalen Milroe at 32, Jack Besh at 73, Harold Fannin Jr. at 90, Smile Mondin Jr. at 137, running back Trevor Etienne at 141, cornerback Kobe Bryant at 162, Ajani Cornelius, offensive tackle at 175, Craig Woodson, safety at 202, and Arian Smith, wide receiver at 207. I think the Rams address needs. I think the Rams go best player available in some of those, and I think that'd be a great draft. So be sure to let me know in the comment section below what you guys think, and I'll see you guys soon. Later, folks. All right, guys. So once again, just want to let you guys know that you can check out my new side project, The Lounge. I interview athletes, musicians, actors, actresses, all the 9. So definitely check it out over on The Lounge with Jake Ellenbogen channel. Be sure to subscribe and enjoy. In case you guys haven't noticed, I do have a Discord channel for my community on this channel. And if you want to be a part of it, it is free. The link is in the description below. You can sign up. This is basically a 24/7 Rams channel, and we are almost at 1,100 members. So if you want to be a part of it, just hit the link in the description below.